Hello guys, what's up? It's Zodic here, and today we're making a DSD updated tier list for 2020. We have some of the new characters like Wirt and Walter and Warthogs. So first, we're gonna start off with easy ones. Wes. Wes is basically the challenge character. You should never play him if you want to if you want to actually like survive long, because he's very weak. He has very little health, very little attack damage, and he doesn't have any ability. So he's just useless basically. Another character I'd suggest not playing would be Willow. Willow is better than Wes, but she doesn't really have a purpose really, because she has a lighter, which is just a torch, very simple to get, and then her Bernie Bear, which is only good for nightmare creatures, and nightmare creatures are really extremely to kite. Both of them have the same exact kiting pattern, so she's not really that good. Okay, starting off with, okay, now that we got those two out of the way, let's do WX. WX is very good character. He's one of the best because he only has one downside, which is that when it rains, he will take very little damage, and the damage you could take, you could just out heal it by collecting butterflies. And his upsides are very good. He has very low base stats to start with, but if you eat a gear, he will upgrade, and eventually he can get up to 400 HP max. And at that point, it's going to be really hard to die. Another S tier character would be Wickerbottom. Wickerbottom's extremely good at getting a lot of food really quickly because she has the book Applied Horticulture. Um, that'll give you lots of berry bushes. It could also give you grass, twigs, and grow trees. Very good resource. She gives you lots of resources, and she's really good. Her main downside though is that she can't sleep or gain sanity, which shouldn't be a problem since sanity is actually not a bad thing. You need nightmare fuel for all of the really good stuff in this game, and the nightmare creatures aren't even that hard to kite. So overall, not really too hard of a downside and very good upsides. Um, let's do Wigfrid. Wigfrid is a weird character. Some people like to consider her S tier, but I think she's okay. Um, Wigfrid does start with a helmet, a spear, and two pieces of meat. The helmet is very good, but it costs rocks and gold, which are very good resources, but you're gonna need them for your base. So not very late game dependent. She but she's really good early and mid game. But late game, her stuff is not really good, and her downside is that she can't eat meat. So oh no, she can only eat meat. So that will affect how you play her, and you're gonna have to play around that. So you're gonna have to be constantly going for food, hunting koalefants, and yeah. And she does gain health and sanity from attacking things. So if you're like playing really aggro and like attacking things a lot, and you don't mind not eating vegetables, Wigfrid is a good character for you. Next, Wilson. Wilson's okay. He doesn't have any downsides, and he does grow a beard for winter, which helps since you won't need any winter gear with his beard. Um, yeah, he's just a really good character. He's not really he just doesn't have any downsides, so there's nothing really bad about him. I would say Wigford's better than him though. Wendy. Wendy's not that good. Wendy has a ghost Abigail, which is good for dealing with spiders, and that's about it. That's all I can think about her. And she has lowered base damage. Pretty sure it's zero point 0.5. Same damage as Wes, so it's not very good. She can't really fight. And yeah, just her ability doesn't really do a lot for you, and the negated damage does not help her out. Woody, Woody is definitely a meh. Woody's main role is to be a tree chopper, but Maxwell does his job very better, like a lot better. He can get way more trees, more resources too. Um, while getting Nightmare Fuel at the same time. So Woody just can't really compare to him. But with the new update, they did give him new transformations. So that the transformations are whatever. I mean, kind of hard to get. I mean, it's very situational. So he's not a not play, but um, he's still playable. He's just not very good. And since we speak about Maxwell, we'll do Maxwell now. I think Maxwell's in there. Maxwell, of course, is the fastest tree chopper in the game. He has three clones. He has a fighter clone, an axe clone, and a shovel clone. Um, his fighter clone is not really that good, but you will need to use it occasionally because he has the lowest health in game, only at 75. So you will need a log suit pretty early on because he's really easy to die to. But overall, he's really good at getting trees and stuff. Maxwell also synergizes really well with Wickerbottom. Since Wickerbottom reads books, she loses sanity. When Maxwell reads the books, he also loses sanity, but he has a very high um, sanity gaining aura, so he's almost never insane. So if you're a duo, Maxwell Wickerbottom's a really good duo. Let's go on to Wolfgang. Wolfgang's definitely S tier. He's really good at killing bosses, and again, Wolfgang and Wickerbottom do combo good because Wolfgang's downside is he loses sanity faster, which isn't a problem because he's good at fighting, which means nightmare creatures are gonna die faster. And another downside is he loses food faster. With Wickerbottom could farm food really easily with applied horticulture. Just use it on berry bushes and make tons of meatballs for Wolfgang. Um, and that downside basically doesn't matter. And Wolfgang could also kill. If you have three, good combo: Wolfgang, Maxwell, Wickerbottom. Wolfgang fights for Maxwell. Maxwell reads Wickerbottom's books for food. Wickerbottom makes the books. It's a really good combo. Um, and overall pretty good. Moving on to Weber. Weber is Weber is probably better than Wilson. Weber is a weird character. Weber Weber's really good if you have other Webers on your team. You guys can make a very big Weber base, like 5 Webers, and just put all the spider eggs that you spawn with in the same spot and constantly create spider fights, which is really good for you. And you get tons of monster meat, tons of food. He does have 75 sanity, which is a good thing since you could gain sanity really fast and lose sanity really fast. So if you need Nightmare Fuel, you could go insane quickly. And if you are really low health and you don't want to fight Nightmare creatures, you could easily gain sanity. Overall, he's just he's a good character. If you have friends, and he's pretty fun too. One of the funner characters. Winona. Winona is she's probably better than Wendy. Yeah, Winona's a weird character. She could create machines which are good in certain situations. She can create catapults which are good in certain situations, but not too powerful, and they do require a good amount of some resources. And she also has duct tape. Duct tape is good, but you could just make a sewing kit, which is the same exact thing. And sewing kits are not that hard to get. It's just 8 silk, 2 hound's teeth. And that's it. So, and another upside is that she could take a hit from Charlie in the darkness, which I almost never take a hit from Charlie ever. I can't remember when I use that. If I do take a hit from Charlie, it's usually the end because I don't have any resources to make a fire. So, er, she's just not really a lot of good abilities, but she's weird. Like sometimes she could be good. Most of the time she's just gonna be eh. She's just gonna be a normal character most of the time. On to Wormwood. Wormwood is definitely better than Weber, but not better than Maxwell. Wormwood is weird. He cannot gain health from food items. He has he must make a compost wrap. Um, and he does have the ability to chop off a piece of him to get very needed um, monster wood, which That wood is very good and very hard to come by. So that's a plus side. And he doesn't need to use farms to plant seeds. He can just plant it in the ground, which is also very good. So overall, is his downside is pretty pretty big actually. You can't gain up from food, which takes out pierogi, but overall, pretty good character. Wartox. Wartox is definitely very good, better than Wigfrid. Um, oh maybe I'm gonna put him in good. He's very good. When you kill a creature, you get souls, and souls can either give you health or hunger. So you basically there's a lot of ways you can make automated farms which gave you infinite healing. And you could also teleport with souls too. So he's very good for kiting, very easy to play, um, and very good. The only problem is that his regular food is cut in half, so it's harder to gain health. But he's still very good because of the souls. Like butterflies are a very good way to get souls. More souls, birds. Book of Bottom could use her Book of Birds to spawn in tons of birds and then sleep them, and then Wartox can gain tons of souls off that. So, yeah, Wartox really good. Warley. Warley is a very fun character. I'm not sure how good he is. I think he's better than Winona. His buff. Warley is a food-oriented character. He relies on being able to get food, and if you can't get a big variety of food, he is very hard to play since the more you eat one type of food, so for example, if you eat a meatball on day 5 and then another meatball on day 6 and another meatball on day 7, it starts to give you less hunger per meatball you eat. So you need to be collecting lots of food. He's really fun though, since it's like a different game. It's almost like a cooking game because you're just making so much food. And he also has a seasoning mix, which can give your teammate extra defense, extra healing, and extra damage. Warley and Wolfgang is a good combo. Not, it's a okay combo. Um, it's because Warley can give you a chili food, which increases Wolfgang's damage, which Wolfgang is basically can kill anything he wants. And Warley can also give Wolfgang the food that he needs, since Wolfgang loses food faster. So Warley and Wolfgang is a okay combo. Let's do Wirt. Save Walter for last. Wirt is Wirt is eh. I don't really see the upsides into using Wirt because um there's just not a lot going for him. I mean, he can make it costs so much to maintain the Merm King and to build the Merm. It's just not worth it. Yeah, worth is just not worth it because the upsides just is way too much to maintain his abilities, and he's only vegetarian, so how that's it just doesn't. His upsides aren't that good. The Merm King's way too much resources, and he's just only eating vegetables is way too much of a downside. Compared to Wigfrid, which you can make monster stew, meatball stew. There's so much more stuff you can make with only meat than only vegetables. And now the newest character added to Don't Stuff Together, Walter. Um, Walter is an interesting character. We don't really know a lot. We haven't really explored Walter a lot, but he starts with a ranged weapon, which is very hard to come by and Don't Stuff Together, and his ammo is pretty good. I'm gonna put Walter actually higher than Wigfrid. Walter is very good, especially with his mobility, because of his companion. You could travel the map really fast, and his ranged weapon also helps you very much. His downside isn't really that big. It's just sanity, which Of course, you could just combat that by just learning how to kite nightmare creatures, which isn't really that hard. I'll be putting a kiting video later on this month today on the channel, talking about all the kiting patterns, or you could just search up kiting on YouTube. Um, but yeah, guys, this is gonna be the complete tier list. I like how this looks. This makes sense to me. Please remember to subscribe and like, cause this is definitely a new channel and my first ever serious video. And yeah, if you disagree or you have maybe a change, maybe like you'd like Wigford to be higher or lower or Maxwell higher or lower, comment down below. I will be replying to every comment. And yeah, see you guys